Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to another episode of Think About It. Thank you for your time and thank you for your energy. Thank you for your happiness. Thank you for your joy. Thank you for your ears. Now, speaking of ears, I have a little bit of a cheat sheet in myself. Now, if the light comes to you, I apologize. I'll pull this forward. As we begin, and everything we begin, and everything I like to begin, I always like to begin by asking why and how come. Now, why are we here? How come we're here? How did we get here? Some good questions, isn't it? Now, if you know me, I always say it's another day in paradise. And today we're going to talk about, or we're going to elaborate further on something that I wrote this morning. Sometimes when you record, you just say, fuck it. You can't think about it. You just gotta do it, right? Think about it. The other day, I listened to a podcast that I know many of you listen to, but I also know some of you didn't or haven't, and that's okay. I want to elaborate more and talk about some of the takeaways and important things that I gathered from this particular podcast, and it's amazing. It's amazing just thinking about where we are in our universe right now, right here. Thinking about when most humans are consuming. I'm thinking about on what frequency most humans are operating on. And I laugh because two of our greatest geniuses in our lifetime, in this generation, sat down and had a conversation for 3 hours. And I haven't done the numbers. I haven't looked at the math. I guess that's just me being in my own bubble and not going on to the very platforms, the social media platforms, to check on these things. I guess my post and ghost method, or the method that I took from someone else, I borrowed, has its ups and downs, has its pluses and minuses. But several weeks ago, maybe a week and a half, or a while back, not too long ago, recently, recently, Mr. Elon Musk and Lex Friedman got together and had a conversation. And if you had not heard of Mr. Lex Friedman, I highly recommend you give him a sincere listen. I'm astounded because to me this should be global news. What they said should be listened to by every human. Simply remarkable. Now, like I said, I value your time and I value your energy. So we'll get right into it. I have notes for days about this. The first note I took was, Mr. Musk says confidently and calmly that in 5 to 10 years we will be on Mars. Think about it. We're going to be on Mars. Now, we have to start asking the right questions. Why and how come? That's not the biggest takeaway at all. I'm gonna get into the current law of things first. Now, he says that the fundamental problem is not a cleansing function on the rules and regulations we have here in America. We need a reset on laws, rules and regulations. They should not be immortal. He says it's quite like a computer program where you need a built-in garbage collection. Now, the computer program is just a metaphor for what the garbage collection we need. Now, he says that we need a clear, simple, transparent, direct democracy where people vote on laws, and laws are comprehensible. I'm gonna say that again. Clear, simple, absolute transparency, a direct democracy, where the people vote on laws, and these laws are written in a way that are comprehensible to the people who vote on them. Think about it. Now, who am I to speak on any of this? Well, at the end of the day, you know it's not about me. It's about you. It's about we. It's about us. All of us. One day they might call this the United States of the world. Because isn't that what our great leaders before us wanted? Isn't that where the word united came from? Now, who am I to speak upon this? I'm a nobody. But for the last 18 months of my life, I represented myself in the court of law in this country. Several. No lawyer. Not playing their game. Not being part of their system. Now, I don't know if this is word for word, but I do believe that somewhere written in the beginning of it all, it says that we, the people, have the power to stand up for ourselves, stand up for our rights, stand up for our freedoms, against enemies both foreign and domestic that our simple government was put in place for us to challenge. Our government was designed for us as the people to question. And you have every right as an American to express your freedoms. Your freedom of speech. Your freedom of expression. I love this great country more than anything in this world. Thing, not human. They say what lies before us is inevitable. They say the repeating of history is inevitable. Somewhere along, man rises, mankind, kind, kindness. Now, as I get to the next point in my notes, I'm going to save that part for the end. Now, give me a moment, because I'm not going to change the topic completely, but I am going to pivot to something that is just as important, in direct line of what we just talked about for the last 15 minutes. Elon's quote, most important thing is clarity of understanding. Now, I cannot remember the exact teacher that I learned this from. But one thing I learned early on in my life that has helped me. And now that I think about it, I feel the one gift that I do have, that I am most clear on, is what I believe to be the single greatest thing we need to do in everything that we do in order for us to be successful at anything. That is communication. We need to be able to communicate honestly, openly, and transparently. Now, think about all the levels in which we communicate now. How do we communicate now? In our simplest platforms, in our day-to-day lives, we choose to communicate through a lens, through a filter. Nothing is pure anymore. Nothing is genuine. Communicate. Better than anything that we do, in everything that we do, it is a must. We must change the way we communicate. Most important, we must change the way we listen to one another. part I was saving for the end. Somewhat the end. Elon said that the solution to it all is that we need a fundamental cleanse. A fundamental cleanse. Need I say the 3 words? So now the question becomes, how and why? Well, first question, how? How do we provide this fundamental cleanse? Well, one thing I've learned about change is that it is possible. In fact, change is the only thing around you. The fact about change is that if we want to change anything in our world, if we want to change anything in our outside world, in our external life, we first must and need to change everything from within. That is the greatest thing about being human. Is that you have the power to choose what is within. If you don't believe me, well, I'm living fucking proof of it. But it's not about me. It's about you. It's about we. It's about us. All of us. How does this all make sense? How does this all come full circle? Well, earlier today, I wrote about energies, frequencies, vibrations. And a dear friend of mine commented, and you know who you are. I miss you, buddy. I love you. I hope everything is well. Hey, Barack smoked. That's tobacco. The bag's there. Fundamental cleanse. change what's going around us must first be changed from within. And this is a quote from my writing earlier. I responded back to that colleague with this. I honestly believe we all have limitless energy constantly around us. However, most don't practice the practice of self-awareness, enhancing one's clarity. Let me ask you, if we are blessed with the greatest gifts in the world, the greatest beauties, the greatest joys, but we are not self-aware enough to realize the presence of these gifts, then are they gifts to begin with? Remember, it's not about me. It's about you. It's about we. It's about all of us. There is clarity about all of it. Happiness. Because isn't that what this great land wanted for all of us in the beginning? For us all to have the pursuit of happiness. And we all, as humans, deserve it. Doesn't matter where you're from. It doesn't matter how you talk, what you look like. All that matters is that all of us, become aware that we only get one of these. We only get one. So we might as well make the most of everything. Something I've learned is that tyranny never replaces tyranny. Peace must prevail. upon our soul. That we bring forth that mind with a peaceful type.